Hello and welcome to the Gemini new moon activation. I'm Adrienne Elise. Thanks so much for joining me for this live activation. This new moon in Gemini is a huge turning point. New moons are always new beginnings, but this one in particular is a closing and beginning of chapters. Now, one of the things that's going on around this new moon is it's hearkening back to the eclipses that happened in 2012. So 2012 started 2011, some really intense astrology. And so we're looking at chapters closing and opening based on that may have a connection to 5 years ago, 4, 5, 6 years ago. So kind of look in your life and see what's going on there, because it's not what's happening right now isn't just about this time. It's about a ripple in time back to 2012 and into the future as we move forward. And so we're feeling a lot of Gemini energy because we've got the sun and Mars is still in Gemini. Mars and Gemini, what that means is that it's our main action planet and our male planet, our get up and go, let's make it happen in Gemini, and with the sun illuminating. And Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. So basically this Gemini new moon is about being able to see things in a new way, clarity and understanding coming around what's been happening in your life. And this might be clarity around what's been going on for the last 5 years and maybe lifetimes. So pay close attention, and we'll use this energy in the activation today to be able to tap into the information, listen, quiet your mind. So the challenge of getting the mercurial information is our everyday mind. It's our practical expression of reality. So what's happening right now is in 2012 is when Pluto and Uranus really came into their square. This is generational change, a breakdown of structures that are no longer working for us in our collective consciousness. But what's been happening in 2017 is personal planets coming in to trigger this Pluto-Uranus square, and it's actually a T-square with Jupiter in Libra. So we're looking at how does this generational change, this big shift that humanity's in right now, affect me right now, right here in my general everyday life. Now, this is going to be about things coming to clarity. When things come to clarity and information comes in, and this Mercury is about making it make sense in our everyday reality. But that sometimes information can be hard to look at, or it might be bringing information about those structures that need to be breaking down. And so people are feeling it right now. They're feeling some pressure to change in their life. This is a good thing, but it can feel like a pressure cooker. So what this Gemini new moon is about letting go of those stories of the past and moving into this future, being right here, right now, in this moment, to be able to get the information you need to move forward and be open to this information. So as much as there's difficult information, things that we've been hiding from, that we don't want to see, that we don't want to face, and now it's all up in our face and we can't get away from it. But it's also an opportunity for really powerful information to come through, and messages and connections with people. The Gemini energy is a lot about social connections and communication. And I'm finding for a lot of people right now, as much as things are intense and there's change, massive shifting and changing going on, there's also huge opportunities to synchronistically and energetically come into contact with important people and information for your future projects. And I've been getting downloads on this recently in readings. 2017 is a year of laying the groundwork for this launch into a true expression, the North Node having moved into Leo, of expression, of the creative expression. But the projects we want to do are in groups and working with other people. So first we have to find those people, and it's like we have this mysterious process where we have different pieces of this bigger whole. And when you just only have one puzzle piece, it doesn't make a lot of sense about maybe where that fits in to the bigger picture. You might not even know what puzzle it belongs to or what the big picture is, but you have your piece. And now we're going to do in the activation as well is open up energetically to this soul team, to this communication you want to have with the people who you need to work with or are coming into your life. And so it's a really important time to be open to them. So we're going to kind of send a beacon out to these people that have the other pieces of the puzzle. So a lot of us have been struggling about, what is my path? What am I here for? What does this matter? Like, what is the point of this stuff? And it's hard to know when you only have that one small piece of the puzzle. So this is a time to open up to information and connections that are going to help you get on that path that you know is there, but you might not have any idea what it looks like. And also to just quiet the mind and tune in to this massive amount of clarity about what you really want, what you really care about, what really matters to you, and how to enact the changes that are going to support you in a better way moving forward. So this is the massive clarity that's available for us right now with all of this Gemini energy. And we're feeling it because we've had such intense retrograde this spring. Ever since the end of January is when this retrograde energy started, when Venus went into the shadow period. Now, Venus and Mercury have both come and gone past their shadow period, their original degree where they went retrograde. So when now that Venus and Mercury are these personal planets so powerful in our everyday life, and what this big stuff means to us individually, coming out of that shadow period, now is when we're finally understanding what it is, what this shift has been about. We've been searching on our inner realms for what we really care about, what really matters to us, how to rearrange our life to support the truth of who we are in a better way. And then, so we had Venus, and that was a Venus retrograde. It was about what really matters. How do I value what really matters? How do I value myself, my gifts? And then we had the Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is about the information and maybe the clarity and understanding and being able to synthesize these changes into our everyday life. So now that both of these planets have just come out of shadow, that happened on the 19th and the 21st of May. And so now we're now starting to get the clarity and information that this whole spring has been about. And with this Gemini energy, hearkening back to those powerful eclipses that happened in 2012, and speaking of this last 4 or 5 years, and a lot of people feel like, whoa, what even happened in these last 4 or 5 years, where their whole life has been turned upside down. And now it's time to pick up the pieces and get on track. And the cool thing about it, what's happening right now with the North Node having moved into Leo, is it's like a rubber band snapping, or maybe a string being plucked, and the reverberation of this string is finding a resonance and helping people hook back up, feeling maybe you have felt disconnected from source, disconnecting from who they really are, what they really want, who am I, what am I doing here? And now this vibrational resonance is happening, and the timelines are snapping back into place. Now, this can be shocking because it can be going from everything going wrong to, wait, things are going right, and can I trust it? And yes, you can. It's time to step on the path that the universe has laid out for you, that you laid out for yourself for this lifetime, but you have been having to clean up a bunch of messes in order to get on that most appropriate timeline, undo traumas, and go into these core childhood energies and core wounds of this lifetime. With Venus in that retrograde, spent a whole bunch of time hanging out with Chiron and Pisces, speaking about these wounds of the past, the wounds of the collective programming, this dark cloud of energy that's kept us suppressed in our spiritual self, in our connection. And when that starts to come back into your life, it can feel almost scary. They can have anxiety. But what we're doing right now in this reverberation is we're adjusting to new vibrational frequencies. Now, sometimes when you're adjusting to new vibrational frequencies, that can mean a heavy energy, like, whoa, just like maybe my body, your body could feel heavy, like you're just dragging it around. That's a feeling that can happen right before you're about to break through to a higher dimensional level, a feeling of being light and free, held and carried by the universe. So the activation today, we're going to work on that connection to source and allow for you to come into this most appropriate timeline and adjust to the frequency changes that have been happening behind the scenes to all of us. And it's kind of like this great mystery because we don't know exactly what this means. We're so out of touch with who we really are. And so when that timeline snaps back and all of a sudden you're like faced with your spiritual purpose and you didn't even know you had one, it can feel disconcerting. You can question everything and not know what's up from down. And if you're feeling that way right now, you're on the right track. Also, but a lot of people are feeling like the universe is finally coming up to meet them. And they're feeling supported in these new ways of being. But it's kind of going back and forth between the old and the new, where it's like, oh, this is heavy. Am I ever going to move from this place? I feel like it's just like life has no purpose, life has no meaning. And then moving into this lightness of being, this feeling like the universe is coming up to support you. So this is what's available right now. And we're going to tap into that energy in the activation. Now, Venus coming out of its shadow, it's still in Aries. And what's happening right now as the new moon is happening is Venus is in an exact square to Pluto in Capricorn. Now, Pluto in Capricorn, Pluto's the destroyer. It's death and rebirth, and it's the shadow. And so we're breaking down these structures. Capricorn is the structures of our life and the physical manifestation that we've built over time. So now this energy is of Venus squaring up with Pluto. That's some tension there. And that's what a lot of us are feeling right now. This kind of like, oh, just what's not right and what's not working is so big in our life right now. But what you can do is basically, the mantra right now is about, this is a great opportunity. This is a huge opportunity. The bigger the issues are coming up right now, the bigger opportunity. And it's cool because it's not about going back and getting stuck in the past. It's about breaking free forever from patterns that have held you down for a very long time. So bear with it and keep your chin up and understand that you're in a massive process and there's going to be ups and downs as you go through these shifts and changes, moving you into the more appropriate life. But Venus is what we love, what we care about, our relationships. It's also our values. And so Venus retrograde is a huge overhaul in our values. And so now we're picking up the rubble from this retrograde and figuring out what all of this means. And rubble indeed, because right now Venus is having that square with Pluto. And so the warrior goddess, Venus in Aries, is saying, I'm ready to stand up finally. I'm going to speak the truth. I'm going to stand up for what's right for me. I'm going to be brave about claiming my truth, claiming my value system, and being able to communicate that to other people. Huge energy for that right now. But there is a massive tension, rubber band feeling being pulled back to adjust to this new value system that has been brewing inside from this Venus retrograde. So Venus has just squared up, it just came into an opposition with Jupiter right when it came out of shadow, and then comes up to a conjunction with Uranus on June 3rd. So basically triggering this T-square in the sky. And so now we're like, okay, what does it really mean to change our value system to what really matters to us, to find inside that there's parts of us that have not been valued, have not been expressed, and that want to be that warrior goddess, to stand up for our uniqueness, our creativity, our sensitivity, our all of the things that are may have been taught that we were taught were bad about us. We're reclaiming our deepest inner gifts right now, and that is fully in action now with the North Node in Leo and Venus and Mercury out of shadow, and Venus heavy duty triggering this Pluto Uranus Jupiter T-square right now. Now Jupiter, of course, Venus rules relationships, and Jupiter is in the sign of relationships of Libra. So a lot of the tension we're feeling right now has to do with how we relate to people, how we were taught to relate to people, societal conditioning, and our patterns that show up in relationships. And so this is our relationship to ourselves and our relationship to other people and all our relationships in our life. But it's also this huge opportunity to attract and form new relationships that are based on more of the truth of who we are, actually supportive relationships, people in our life that want to see us shine and succeed. And so it's a really big shift from going from a lot of the negative patterns and abusive patterns that all of us have been battling with from our societal and family early childhood conditioning and generational belief systems. And it's like that is all just getting broken down right now. And it's like a new fresh breeze with all this Gemini energy is coming in, and it's time to get on board with that breeze, raise your sail, and adjust the direction of your boat to make the most advantage of this breeze instead of being blown out to sea. So we're going to work on that with the activation, just get a handle on this communication, this information, this new fresh breath of energy that's coming into our life. Might mean making our life feel hard or difficult or confusing right now, but that's because it's new winds. The winds of change are blowing. And so what's happening right now is a huge opportunity, and it's a good thing. So Venus is triggering this Pluto-Uranus square and Jupiter and T-square with Jupiter, and saying we need to change what in our life is not supporting what we really care about, what really matters to us, our true values. And that's happening collectively as well. Humanity, we can't see it right now in the outside world because we're so programmed with media, but collectively humanity is revaluing. Humanity is deciding to come out of this me against the other mentality. We are all one. And when you start to see things that way, it's really hard to jump on a political party and hate everybody on the other side. This is a game that has been playing out for far too long, where we wake up lifetime after lifetime on the battlefield fighting our brothers just because they look different or believe different. And then maybe the next life waking up on the other side of the battlefield. And this is the end of the evolution of this control drama mechanism and belief system and paradigm on the earth. And so we're seeing it in our personal everyday life, and hopefully we'll be seeing some signs of change in the bigger systems on our planet, as well as humanity kind of waking up from this really bad dream and kind of being like, wait a minute, how can we live on this planet if we don't care about each other? If we don't want to make sure that everybody is taken care of? And so it's a huge shift coming for humanity. It's a very exciting time. And now is when you're getting the information about your individual role and your individual expression of the divine during this most dynamic time on the planet. So it's super exciting, but sometimes when those old things are breaking away, it can feel, give you anxiety, disconcerting, a lot of grief, a lot of letting go. But again, just remember that we're at this massive turning point and a huge opportunity. And this is the fiery activation energy of 2017. And we're moving in deeply into this fire energy. Now that the North Node has moved into Leo, the beginning of June, the North Node trines up with Saturn in Sagittarius and Uranus and Venus in Aries. So a huge fire trine with Saturn is a taskmaster, make it real, bring it into reality. Saturn, it's like very close to the galactic center, our destiny. So this call to make our destiny real and our reason for living, which is just to truly express who we really are. And so that North Node and Saturn on the galactic center, and then trining up with Uranus, the awakener, bringing Uranus is like the higher mind, whereas Mercury is more our everyday reality, and Uranus is the higher mind, the ancient wisdom that we can have connection to. And so this awakening energy to a bigger picture, Venus is hanging out there, triggering this whole square. On the one hand, the Pluto-Uranus square with all this tension. On the other hand, this beautiful fire trine. So this fire trine energy is super potent around getting on your path and starting to express the truth of who you really are and building a life that is more appropriate for those truths, rather than survival, what everybody else expects of me, what society expects of me, what I was told to do, because the reason you're living is probably none of those things. The reason you're living is because you've worked for lifetimes to develop certain skills and your own unique way of expressing the cosmic divine energy, and you want to get down to work and start doing it. And I'm going to tell you, with all the people I've helped get on their path, one step down that path makes you feel better. So a lot of people are struggling right now because they feel like there's no point to life. But what's happening is you're finding the point. You're about to find the point. And that is exactly this moment when Venus, Uranus, trining up with Saturn and Sagittarius, the reality, destiny, the reality of our destiny as wider spiritual beings that are way beyond our body in this lifetime, and the awakener, and Venus, what we really care about. And so it's coming home. Venus right there in this fire trine in the Pluto-Uranus square is saying, this is about us individually right now, right here on the planet. It's time to, we're being affected now. We can't just be like, well, that's going on in the world out there. It's like, no, this is all, it's all a reflection, and that's being shown more and more and more. And so the cool thing is about that, because we're all one and it's all a reflection, and we're coming closer and closer in our collective consciousness connection. It means that you don't actually have to have a big project or huge effect in order to create change in this world. It's about who you are right now in this moment. And today, on this in this Gemini new moon activation energy, it's about getting in touch with the information and clarity you need to move forward in this area. So this Mars and the Sun in Gemini is really speaking about the clarity, the communication, the relationships with our everyday reality of building this new life. And so pay attention to what's coming through right now. It's all starting to make sense, and right before it starts to make sense, it feels very hopeless. So just stick with it and know that there's ups and downs. And this year that we're moving into, or this energy of the North Node in Leo, is really about that shining your light, being who you really are. And I've developed a course called Leadership and Abundance Training, and this is about true abundance. Our true abundance, when you are not in this body anymore and you're looking down in this realm, you're not going to care how much money you had when you got to the end of your life. You're not going to care about how many things you've accumulated in this material world. What's going to matter is whether or not you expressed the truth of who you are, or whether or not you let that energy move inside of you and make you sick. And so this is the true abundance of this world, and the currency of the future is around this dynamic energy of us expressing our individual gifts that we have prepared over many lifetimes to be a part of this dynamic shifting change, total dimensional change in a body on planet Earth. And So with this true abundance, this class, the leadership and abundance training, is about getting anything out of the way. What is in the way of you living that truth, of you expressing all that you have inside of you? And so we're going to go chakra by chakra and look at all and get activations and clearings and healings in order to clear everything and understand more about who you are, what you want to bring to the planet, and get everything out of the way of why you're not shining your light in your full capacity. So I hope you'll consider joining me for the leadership and abundance training, and you can find out more information about that at adrianelise.com/leadership-and-abundance. So I hope that you will consider joining me for that journey. And also there's downloadable classes of the last series I taught, the Goddess Activation. And so the Goddess Activation was to celebrate that Venus retrograde and to get deep inside and find that juicy creative energy that makes you tick and that really brings life to this new level. So if you want to grab onto that divine feminine energy, the goddess energy, the magic, the creative force, go ahead and get on those classes. They're downloadable. It's an hour each, and you can do them at your own pace. Just goes through the chakra. The first one is the first chakra, second one, second chakra. We're working with the issues of the main chakras of the body associated with those chakras. So go ahead and check that out at adrianelise.com/goddess-activation. So let's get into this energy so we can tap into our clarity, get on the page with our most optimal timeline, and put a beacon out to our soul team family who is going to show up in our life in this next 6 months to a year and be a part of whatever projects or expression we're going to work on together. And so be aware of these people wanting to show up in your life right now, and knowing that it's not about knowing exactly how you're going to move forward and what it looks like in your project. It's more about shining up that puzzle piece and letting that puzzle piece be a beacon out into the world. So being in your truth, honoring yourself. The Venus retrograde energy is a lot about creating space for you to be you. So most of us, the best gifts we've had were the things that were kind of wrong about us when we were children. And so there's a lot of undoing of this programming that's happening right now. And part of that is taking this opportunity to find deep reverence. Okay, so it's a 180-degree turn for a lot of people, going from beating yourself up, being self-critical, that constant voice of arguing and why couldn't you do it better and what's your problem, and that this is going on so much for people they don't even realize it sometimes. And so it's like waking up to that and being like, whoa, 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 okay, wait, I have this precious, unique set of gifts and energies that I came to this world. I was like, you had a deep desire to be on Earth in order to be on this planet right now, because they were lining up at the door to have this tumultuous experience. But it's like, that needs to be precious. That is precious, and it needs to be treated as such. And so it's really, this time is really about finding a way to start being nicer to ourselves and landing this deep gifts that have been suppressed. Maybe we've been scared of them. They've been hidden. We've been programmed to fear these parts of ourselves so that they're not a gift to humanity. And so we have to kind of readjust this whole story and begin to truly support and honor this precious gift of the divine that's trying to shine through you in this life. You're the only one who can make sure that that happens, and you're the only one that can honor and nurture and build a temple for your gifts to be able to incarnate and land. And so let's go ahead and tap into this energy and open up to this timeline adjustment of the most optimal timeline, the other people that are going to be helping us on our journey, and the information we need for our next steps. So go ahead and arrive here in this now moment, just taking a few deep breaths. There's lots of mental energy with Mars in Gemini. Gemini is thoughts and busyness and lots in the head, but it's also a time for sorting things out and finding clarity. So go ahead and just feel yourself moving into center. Just feeling yourself grounding into this now moment, connecting with Mother Earth Gaia, paying attention to the base of your spine and imagining a beautiful root system opening up and growing into the earth and establishing a connection, a two-way communication with Mother Earth Gaia, and feel yourself arrive right here, right now, in your body on planet Earth. Just taking a few deep breaths, feeling yourself coming into magnetic resonance with Mother Earth Gaia. And go ahead and just leave everything behind, all your concerns and cares and worries. They'll be there when you get back. But right now, we're going to enter the sacred chamber of the heart. And in the sacred chamber of the heart, you leave behind all duality and all concerns about the past or the future. And so go ahead and pay attention to the area of your heart and invite the vortex of your heart to open, the toroidal field, and welcome you in. Just moving in and feeling yourself as you move in over this threshold into this heart space, into the sacred chamber of the heart. You must leave everything behind. So your ego, your identity, everything you've told yourself who you are. I'm this, I'm that, I'm a woman, I'm a man, I'm my professional job and my role in the world, and just leave all that behind, because now it's time to give yourself a moment to enter the sacred chamber of the heart and leaving behind all names and identity with the outside world, all concerns of the past and the future, and just be here in this now moment and just feel yourself being pulled into that vortex, into the toroidal field of the heart. Our physical heart has a magnetic field created by the heartbeat. Everything that has a heartbeat has this electromagnetic field. So just feel yourself being pulled into the center, because we live in a manifested reality based on principles of duality. But right now we're visiting the place inside of you, the center, the still point, moving deeper and deeper into the chamber of the heart, leaving everything behind, coming into this now moment, allowing yourself to open up to this truth of who you really are, what really matters to you as a soul spirit beyond this reality right now, in this time, your bigger awareness of self. Just feel yourself moving into the sacred chamber of the heart, into still point. There is a point in all creation of manifested reality that's outside of duality, at the very center of the opposing fields of positive and negative, male and female. So just moving into this place outside of polarity, and just feel yourself exist. Feel yourself as I am. This is the primordial existence before everything else. When you can bring yourself into this place, it can help get perspective on the things in your life that might be confusing, holding you back, holding you down. So just leaving all that behind and feel yourself as this expansive soul spirit, your true self. your true self that exists beyond time and space, beyond this body. And just feel yourself resting in this still point. Just taking a few deep breaths, feeling your heart expand with each breath. Imagine that you can breathe into your heart and send waves of dynamic energy and love. You're the center of the ripple. Heart Math Institute has proven that in this state of heart frequency resonance, you can affect the people around you and also invite them into heart frequency resonance. So just taking a deep breath, breathing in air, light, and prana, and imagine sending out a ripple of this harmony energy, this earth frequency resonance, heart frequency resonance, and just feel the people around you in your immediate neighborhood. Just feel them receive this wave, this ripple. Feel your whole neighborhood come into heart frequency resonance with you. Deepening your grounding cord, feeling that communication, that connection with Mother Earth. You are held and you are safe for this journey. Mother Earth is supporting you, as well as your cosmic presence, the truth of who you really are, that force moving through your life. We often think that it's our little decisions, our little mistakes that create our reality, but there's a bigger part of ourselves that knows. Let's just tap into that part of ourselves, moving deeper and deeper into the chamber of the heart. There's a small room in the chamber of the heart, and I'd like you to move into this chamber. Just allowing yourself to be moved along like peristalsis in this vortex of the heart until you arrive in a very special, tiny room where you will meet with that bigger part of yourself, your higher self, your seventh dimensional part of you that knows the bigger picture of where you're heading and why all this is happening right now. And I'd like you to just imagine that you can go ahead, enter this room, entering the tiny space of the heart, entering the deep, deep inner chamber, coming into oneness. And go ahead and imagine sitting down with this higher part of yourself. Just go ahead and receive a blessing and a remembrance of who you really are. I'd like you to ask your higher self, what percentage? Go ahead and look at a gauge here. And imagine a gauge out in front of you that has like a gas gauge. And so on the left would be empty and the right would be full. And go ahead and ask this gauge, according to your higher self, how much of your bigger, true light, your essence of your soul spirit are you expressing in this lifetime and present time? And go ahead and just get a reading on the gauge. And I'd like you to have this conversation with your higher self around what limitations, conditioning, belief systems might be playing a role. Past trauma, family, belief systems, societal conditioning. What is there any information about what is playing a role in limiting your light, the expression of your divine, unique divine truth? Go ahead and just allow any images or information to come to mind. Why are you playing so small? Perhaps it's a past life program where you've been taught to fear who you really are or fear your power. And go ahead and receive any information and also healing from your higher self to release this block. Taking a few deep breaths, just breathing in air, light, and prana into your heart, sending out more heart frequency resonant waves. Feeling yourself deeply at peace in your own being. Feeling yourself with increased permission to shine and be who you really are. And just seeing that gauge out in front of you, imagine just kind of eking up the gauge, just move it a little bit higher. Just moving it higher, just giving yourself permission to shine. And your higher seventh dimensional self has a gift for you. It's going to help bring clarity and information about this light of yours and what it's all about and what is your own unique way, your own set of unique gifts, your own way of expressing the divine. What do you really want to express in this lifetime? So go ahead and receive this gift from your higher self. And if it's in a package or a box, go ahead and open it. And go ahead and just receive this gift and any information about what this gift might mean for your path, for your next steps. Just receive. Is there any instruction booklet or information that comes along with this gift to help you? Many of us are kind of clueless. We feel that we know we have something unique, something we want to express, but maybe don't really know what it is or how to work it. We've been so programmed to fear it, to block it, to keep it suppressed, to conform. And our strength, our gifts, our wealth, our commodity is these inner gifts. And what would the world look like as more of us start to truly express in the way that we wanted to when we were coming into this earth life? Just receive any information, any healing. Go ahead and take that instruction booklet, any information, and go ahead, and if you can't receive it right now, just know that this is going to be a continual download into your consciousness as you can allow over time, over this next 2 weeks leading up to the full moon. Just a beautiful time to be open to clarity and information about who you really are, what you really like, and what you really want to do while you're here in a body on planet Earth. And I want you to go ahead and receive one other thing from this higher self. I want you to receive your star. There's a part of you out in the universe that does shine 100%. And imagine the star coming home into this body right here, right now on planet Earth, and radiating out from your heart. Just breathing in air, light, and prana. And imagine that you're sending out waves of your own unique divine essence. There's a soul group out there, a soul team, other members of pieces of your puzzle, and just let your star emanate out the vibrational frequencies to call these people into your life and make it really clear that these people are the right people, and make it really clear that you can recognize the healthy relationships and the supportive people more easily as you move forward into this new chapter. And just feel the other stars in your soul group starting to light up all over the planet, and just sending out a beacon as you breathe in air, light, and prana. Just imagine you're sending out a beam of light, and all the resonant beams of light, all the people that can help you on your path, can help you, bring you the pieces that are going to allow the universe to support you in ways you couldn't imagine, for that life that's better than you could even ever imagine. This full, most satisfying expression of who you really are, your unique divine gifts, expressed fully and completely the way you imagined when you came into this earth realm. So just see your shining star coming in, going back to your incarnation, jumping through in your timeline to your incarnation into this body on planet Earth, and watch your star come in. Watch your star come in, and so excited to be here on Earth, so much desire to come and be a part of this experience. But what thwarted this? Is there any information here about your early experiences or family belief systems that maybe made it feel like you were coming in on a star, but then you hit a brick wall? Let's go ahead and take this opportunity to rewrite your incarnation and receive an energy wave to support a reincarnation. It's like you're going to go back and get the parts of your light that you were too scared to bring in because you thought that maybe people wouldn't like you, or too scared to bring in because you thought maybe it would be dangerous to other people, or maybe it's not fair that you have these gifts and other people don't. So we're just rewriting all of these stories because the whole point of you on planet Earth is to bring in this light. So just watching the star coming into Earth, this comet coming into the atmosphere, and bringing your light all the way home into your body. It's that new little baby in your mother's womb, just the few little cells incarnating. You now have permission within your being from your higher self to be all you can be. Just taking a few deep breaths, enjoying this connection to Mother Earth, this heart frequency resonance, and the feeling of the universe carrying you into your next phase, into the people that are trying to find you to work together to help support each other's gifts. And just feel the feeling. Receive an energy wave to reset your whole vibrational system, cell by cell, into this feeling of being held and supported by the universe. Just feel yourself floating, releasing anything that's in the way. These are small trifles that you thought were really big, but they're just falling away as you gather momentum in the truth of who you are. Moving through, say, an icebreaker through a glacier. Paving a way for your soul spirit to finally be who you really are and live a life of deep satisfaction. Supported by other people on a similar journey. And just see the bright lights around you, in your neighborhood, in your town, in your state, your city, your country, and the whole world, calling out to these bright lights, hey, let's get together and do this. We are exponentially strong, and we've been separated through fear of our power, programming to fear who we really are and keep it hidden and suppressed. But that's no longer possible. It's no longer time for that. It's time to shine. So feel yourself become the star that you are, connecting with that original impulse of your incarnation experience. as you came into this body. And breathe into your heart, feeling that light begin to spark and shine and shimmer out to the rest of the world, rippling out, sending and receiving messages and support. Sometimes you're the one bringing magical messages to the next person. We are reforming our interconnected web of our soul groups, the truth of who we really are, our potential. Humanity is coming alive. So just imagine that you can breathe in air, light, and prana and breathe life into the whole earth. This potential, this possibility, this deeply satisfying experience. What would our world look like if more of us were really living our truth? Just taking a few deep breaths, enjoying this deep peace, this still point, this connection, this feeling of the universe, your higher self, deeply supporting you on the journey. And see out in front of you that there's multiple possibilities for the future, almost like lots of strings, fiber octave strings in front of you. But there's actually the most optimal string, the most optimal timeline. So imagine and watch your higher self pluck these strings and bring them into resonance so that there's one clear path ahead of you, your most optimal timeline. And that timeline is heading towards this feeling of deep satisfaction, expressing divinity in the way you desired and why you came to Earth. And just feel this magnetic pull into your most amazing future. Feel yourself receive an energetic wave to come into alignment with this optimal timeline on a cellular level. Taking a few deep breaths. What is needed to support this shift onto your most optimal timeline? Is there a need to support your physical body, to nourish and cherish and honor your gifts rather than beat yourself up over your mistakes? What is the next steps in your life around self-care, being able to really nurture and support yourself to vibrationally align with this most optimal timeline, and just feel yourself like a rubber band, like a string being plucked, just coming into frequency resonance with that most optimal timeline and magnetically just snapping back onto the most optimal timeline and feeling yourself carried and held and supported by the universe. Just taking a few deep breaths, allowing this process to happen. Feel yourself deeply grounded into Mother Earth, communicating Mother Earth Gaia. She's holding you. You're on the journey together. She's got your back. Just rest there, reclining in this deep spiritual support for who you really are. Floating through your timeline to when you were a child in this lifetime and you still had this spark. What was your favorite thing to do as a young child? Your favorite thing to do in your earliest memories. There's some information there about your path, your gifts, the expression you really want to have in this world. And feel that childlike joy return to you. This is your birthright. It's how humans should be. We have an opportunity when we connect to the larger living grid. We feel levity and joy and universal support. And just allow that inner child, that excitement, that playfulness, that trust in the universe to reset back to that place that may have been lost through traumatic experiences or just living life, conditioning, what we've been taught. Claim back that happy, joyful inner child and receive any information about your path according to that child. What does that child want to look? What is the life of that child, that inner child, that full true expression? What does that look like as you look into your future of your most optimal timeline? And just receive. And just taking a few deep breaths, enjoying this feeling of being held by the universe, knowing that this is always here for you. The fact that you found this presence, this peace in this moment means it's accessible at all times. So just bringing that with you as you begin to complete your journey, your meditation, your experience, just gradually as you're ready, coming back into your body, just taking your time. There's a lot to integrate. A lot of energetic shifts and changes and upgrades and healings that just happened in this activation and have been happening over the last 4 months. Just bringing all of this, your inner child, your higher self, that desire, the spark of desire, all into your body right here, right now on planet Earth. And arriving back home, this is your reincarnation experience. Watching your star, just imagine you can kind of eat your own star, swallow your star, and feel that light growing in your belly, in your heart, as you give yourself permission to really be who you are, your bigger, truer light. Just taking a few deep breaths, coming back in as you're ready to your regular everyday awareness, bringing with you this peace, bringing with you this harmony, this expansive awareness of what really matters. Feel your whole neighborhood has come into this harmony with you. I'm just arriving right here, right now in your body, becoming aware of your body, the room that you're in, just coming back into your awareness, wiggling your fingers and toes, and as you're ready, go ahead and come out of meditation. Well, thanks so much for joining me on that journey. What a beautiful picture, all those lights coming to light, coming to awareness, coming into reincarnation, and bringing their light home to Earth right now. What a beautiful future we have, humanity, as we can jump onto this most appropriate timeline and find our soul family who's ready to do the same. So best of luck for you. Pay attention to the information that's coming in these next couple of weeks leading up to the full moon. And I hope that I'll see you for the next activation, and consider that leadership and abundance training and the goddess activation. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Adrienne Elise. I'm here because I'm passionate about helping people have an empowered awakening experience. So you can find out more at adrienneelise.com. So until next time, I hope you have a beautiful journey forward with this new light, permission for your light in your life. Until next time, namaste.